the internet down somewhere. Oh, no, we're live now. Hello, very good morning to you. For a moment then, we couldn't get on live. I was thinking, what's going wrong there? It's an unknown error. Anyway, very, very good morning to you. I'm Phil Griggs. This is Cafe Clairvoyance. And this is Wednesday, the 16th of September. Yes, already we're heading into autumn. Already the leaves are starting to change their colours. And already we're starting to think about getting the woolly pulleys, the jumpers, the anoraks, the coats out of the cupboard, the scarves, the Wellington boots. I'm getting far too carried away. We're not doing that yet, are we? Because I think it's still quite warm everywhere, really, isn't it? Anyway, very, very good evening to you. Good morning to you, rather. Or maybe evening if you're over the other side of the world. And yes, so today is the astrology show. Loads to talk to you about. And so I thought the best thing to go and do is go and start this. And very shortly, I'll bring on my very good friend, Guiomar, and welcome her on the show this morning. So, how are you guys today out there? Are you having a nice morning? With whatever you are doing. And today is, as we work through this particular period, we're going through a particularly unusual energy. When I say unusual, we all go through different times, which could be unusual every now and then. This is quite a specific time for us all, isn't it? I think we're experiencing this time of enormous change, and sometimes we see it externally, and sometimes we're feeling it internally, and sometimes the lot's going on at the same time. So let's have a good old chat here to Guiomar very shortly and see what's going on. Just for that, I'd like to say a big thank you to Taryn Sandbrook, who came on the show last night. Very interesting show, very enjoyable. Thank you very much, and to everybody who joined in as well. So today, you've got all the opportunities as well, if you'd like to have a live mini reading on the show, is to send in there your details, such as there. We need your date of birth. We need a favourite colour, and also we need a question. That's it. That's what we need there. We get those through, and we'll be much appreciative. Loads to see. Lovely to see somebody on the show. Susanna's coming in saying hello, as is Sandra, and also producers on the show too. And even Guiomar is there, waiting in the background poignantly waiting in the background. Anyway, so without further ado, I think it's about time to go and see if Guiomar's ready. I'll just go and have a look for her and see if I can find her, see where she is. Yes, let's just give her a little ring and see if she's there. Yep. I think she's there. Yeah, there she is. Yeah, come on in.
Good morning, Phil. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. I can now stretch your name out wide like that. 'Cause it's far easier to make your name like this before the show rather than doing it in there. So there we go. Now you're introduced. Guiomar, very good morning to you. And how is it over your side of down the road? How is it over there? How's life?
Life's good, and it's a very warm day.
It's beautiful. It is warm, isn't it? It's going to be a very sticky one. Yes.
Yeah, it's going to fry our brains again.
Yes, it is, isn't it? I know. First of all, we're thinking, oh, it's going to get colder. Then it gets hotter. Mad world. But I gather you guys in the UK, you're having a warm spell of weather as well. We're all in competition here. Is that right? Is it warm and sunny over there, guys? What's going on? What's going on there? Okay, so just to have a little chat here about what's going on at the moment. I know we're talking a little bit last night about the moon and the heart and how people are feeling here when we relate to energies about, especially Taryn when she's doing her moonology cards. And today we're going to talk about the astrology, the slightly different and very deeper side to things here, and how we all feel, especially when you guys there want to send in your birth details. By all means do, and we can answer questions for you later on the show. But beforehand, we're in this environment here at a time, and 1 minute we're feeling like we know where we're going. Next minute feeling like, but I don't know if that's a good idea. Next minute we're thinking of something else. And the amount of people I've been talking to this week, and they're trying to find sense in everything at the moment and trying to find a sense and purpose. And we're used to doing that as with our minds, our conscious minds. We're used to trying to find sense and purpose. So yes, we feel like we're in control. We're feeling confident, know we're going. But this current energy is throwing us sideways, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Actually, when we think we are in control, it's not true. Basically, what we're doing is we're recreating the past. So we're
I
all
love this. I love when you start talking like this. It's fantastic. That's why this show is so blooming brilliant. Lovely. Yes.
So we think, like when they say everything is predestined in life, basically it is if you're unconscious. And unconscious means that you are unaware of your patterns, of your inherited patterns, social, cultural, family patterns. So if you're unaware of how they operate in you, then you're going to react to them, and you're going to live your life expecting those outcomes and trying to achieve or avoid them. And that's basically living in the past.
Yep.
So right now, all that's falling to pieces. So all the old patterns are falling to pieces. So all that past reference makes no sense anymore. So trying to make sense out of something that doesn't make sense anymore, and trying and basing the projection of your future on your past, it's just not working anymore. It's just, there's no point. You can't create a future from your past right now.
That
And you
is
don't want
what a
to do it.
great way of putting that into words. A brilliant way of putting that into words. How to try and explain the current trend that when we try to function and create from our past what we want for our future, it isn't going to work.
No. So basically, the idea is, for example, imagine that your great grandmother or great grandfather lost his house, right? So then what's going to happen? They're going to inherit the fear of losing your property. They're going to transmit it generation after generation. So each generation is going to live one or several aspects of this. So then some members of the family are going to like buy a lot of properties to ensure that they will never lose their home. Others are going to just make a lot of money. Others are going to lose everything to learn what it's like to live in spite of that. Others are, so there's going to be all these variations over the same theme.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Okay.
underlying core issue, the underlying program is exactly the same, one generation after the other. So we've been creating our future on that.
Now that's interesting because that's why a lot of people at the moment are going through a lot of ancestral healing
Yes.
to try and to resolve and try and find a pattern forward so they're not listening to the same patterns going into the future.
Exactly. But I beg to differ as far as resolve goes,
Yeah.
because so far we've always talked about healing, resolving, fixing problems, but it's not about that anymore. Right now, it's about letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go. We don't need to fix it.
Yes.
We don't need to understand how it works. Somebody already fixed that. Somebody already understood that. It's in the collective consciousness. Just ask for it, get it, and move on. Let go. It's not about continuing.
Okay, so quite a few people on this morning. Guys, how easy is it for you guys out there when we talk about letting go? What are your experience of this? Do you feel like you need to let go? Is there something telling you that says, I've got to let go? What's going on out there, guys? I'd love to get your feedback on this, just to interact with Guiomar myself this morning, because I think it's a big touchy subject, isn't it?
Yeah, but letting go is okay. You can accompany letting go with physical movement on the outside. And for me, before I say this, I think it's very important to understand that the way I view things, the more sensitive you become, the more you feel the changes, the easier it is to make the changes, because you only have to make it at a very superficial level.
Okay.
Okay. So, like, if you resist change for decades, then you're going to have to live something very awful to be able to, for you to make that shift. But if you accept change, for example, right now, you're probably going to have a feeling of, I'm cluttered. There's just too much. We have a sun in Virgo. The moon's is in Virgo too. So it's a sense of being just, there's too much stuff. There's too much cluttering. And the sun opposition Neptune. I'm not seeing things clear because there's too many things in the way, too many ideas, too many options. I don't know. I don't know what to do. So instead of struggling and trying to fix something and trying to fix reality outside, like, I can always focus and create problems and try to fix those, but I'm not going to go anywhere. So what I
Yeah.
want to do is attend the simple little details around me, the daily routine details. Like, for example, I'm going to clear the table. I'm going to clean my closet. So I'm going to declutter my physical space, and that's going to declutter my mind. And that, together with the intention to let go of old patterns, of anything that doesn't serve me anymore, is enough.
One of these things I tend to think about is like when you when you move house. You move house and you want to take everything with you to go to the next house. I know. Yeah, I just saw that face pull then. Yes, even Deborah said, yes, too cluttered, too much stuff. It's obviously responding to exactly the way I was feeling then. So, and Susanna asks here, it's understanding how to let go. If we refer this to moving home, is, for instance, here, there's so many clothes and so many gizzits and gizmos and gadgets and all sorts here, is the stuff we've got to try and do in order to move is to let go of the stuff that we don't wear anymore. But I like that. But when did you last wear it?
Exactly. So
Yes.
if you like it, then you can give it to charity, and somebody else will, will actually use it. And so you can actually find pleasure in the fact that somebody else is using something that you like very much and you're not wearing anymore. And there's a
Mm.
Marie Kondo thing, Marie Kondo is the guru of order. I really recommend seeing her videos or watching YouTube
Oh,
or reading
yes.
the
Is she the
book.
Japanese lady?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a great idea because I mean I love the part where she goes, she just, if you're gonna part with something, part with it, but be grateful. Everything you part with, you hold in your hand and you thank it and you remember the memories and then you go, okay, I'm not gonna keep you anymore. Thank you for being of service to me. I'm going to give you to charity. Or oh, this is still very meaningful towards for me, then I'm going to keep it.
Yeah.
So but it's basically object by object doing this, and that decluttering and that putting things into order and that actually putting value to things that are valuable for you is going to help indirectly, metaphorically. It's going to help you align with yourself because Venus in Leo says, look, the way to do things. Wait, let me start the other way around. So what's going on is there's a lot of scattered ideas. Like there's a lot of options. We've got Mercury in Libra, so there's a lot of options. Sun, Neptune oppositions. Like, well, Mercury in Libra in square to Jupiter. So Jupiter is augmenting those options. And then Sun opposition Neptune is like, I'm not sure. I don't know. What do I want? I want this. I don't want that. So, but Venus in Leo says, okay, just really, really feel what you really want, what's really important for you, what you really cherish, what you really need. So, like, what's been in this lockdown, I think many, many, many of us have learned how precious and important it is to take care of yourself first.
Yeah.
So self-care has been the biggest collective learning, I think, of this entire year. No, so
Absolutely. Yes, I agree with you. Yes.
options come up in the future have to include your self-care. You can't exclude that now. You can't, okay, I did it, it's done, now I'm going to do something else. No, it's got to be included. Self-care is forever. It's the base of everything. So the idea is like when you have many options, start off like I was doing this exercise yesterday with a friend. I'll do it here. So imagine a tree that you have a ring. You know how the tree has the middle and all the rings around it. Okay, so you can imagine yourself. You can put yourself in the middle.
Yep.
No, and then you have the first circle, right? So in the
Yep.
first circle, you put the things that are most important for you. For example, if you have a little baby, you can put your baby in there because the baby needs to be inside your inner circle. Only a baby, as far as human beings go, nobody else. Okay. After 2 years, they move out of the circle, and then you put like your, I don't know, whatever makes you comfortable, doing exercise, nutrition, doing a massage every so often, whatever. So you put those things in the middle, or working from home, or I don't know, whatever it is, all the things that you've learned to understand that that's really valuable for you. So you put that in the middle. And then you have the next circle, like I was saying, like a tree, right? So in the next circle, you can put your husband, your children, your older children, and anything that is in that environment that is important for you. And then after that, and the way you relate to them, and then afterwards you do another ring, and so forth. And so you start, whatever options you have, they don't take you out of your center.
Yeah.
You're actually including them to your rings. So
Yes.
it's a very different perspective, because if not, the too many options can be delusional. We can just go off and start like lose all our energy in an option which is just an illusion.
Yeah. Okay.
On top of that, we still don't have all the information that we're getting. So
Okay.
our minds are still not wired enough to able to grasp all the information that is coming in, that will open us up to new options, new ways of being on the planet, new ways of relating to everybody, new ways of interacting with resources, of dealing with money and everything. So a lot of new things are coming in, and our brains still aren't enabled to be able to grasp that. So like all the options you have on the table, they are not complete. You cannot see them complete, and you cannot even see all of them. So it's very important that you cultivate your center, and that the options come in to the circles that you put around you. I hope that was clear.
Yes, I think it is, because I think if you do this in levels of importance, even if you're like using this as a staircase, or using it as a tree, how you ought to do it, the most important things where they are and where they fix in your life here. And the ones which are on the furthest out there is like saying here, do you really need this? Is it really important to you? Can you let that go? I mean, I think here that we collect things. We go out to the worst places to go to sometimes, I think, are these antique fairs, or we go out to somewhere else. We go to fates, or we go to markets, or we go to places like this, or even go to a charity shop. And you go in there, and one of the things you think of here when you buy something, oh, that's good. This goes to charities, helping people. But then you're taking something out. And how many times are you going to wear it? How many times are you going to use it? Maybe it is something that's going to be of purpose. But there is a dual level there. I think it is, or it is helping a charity, thinking of buying something there. But it's the big thing, isn't it? I think it's so important that we declutter our heads by the external life around us and get rid of the stuff we don't need.
Yeah,
Yes,
and centering, and very important, centering ourselves. And
yes,
the image that I showed, it's very important that you get it in your mind that you're at the center of your world. The only person that can be in that core is a baby that is less than a baby, up
yes,
until the age of 2.
yes,
Anybody else is external to that, because even your family, your spouse, because often what people do is like they put in the very middle, they can put their spouse, their children, their parents, and they're putting themselves on the outside of their inner circle. You can't do that. That's wrong. That's going to create codependent relationships, and that's going to create a lot of problems from now onwards. So you don't want to do that. You want to be in your
no,
own center, and you want to relate to your husband, to your elder children, each with their own circle.
yeah, yeah. I can see what you're saying.
A lot of
Absolutely.
talking. A lot
Yes,
of talking has to go on. A lot of conversations have to go on to be able to agree, each one being in their own center, in their own inner circle. We need a lot of conversation to adapt, not just pretend like, well, I know what he wants or she wants, and I'm just going to give it or ask for it. No, we have to talk.
that's a very interesting point, because the amount of people I've even spoken to this week in sessions, in therapy sessions, things like this, is the way sometimes people are talking or thinking at the moment is very much about themselves and assuming. Assuming is a dangerous place to be sometimes, because
Yeah.
we think we know what it means, but it doesn't necessarily mean exactly where we're going to. Yeah, I agree. I agree. And I think here too, that what we've got to look at here is, as you say, it's about talking with people to understand. And if we could get an understanding what people exactly need, then we're in a very good place. Very good place. At this particular time, all this energy, do you think that we all understand each other at the moment by what we need?
That we all understand each other.
Yes. So
The
we're
important
talking
thing
to
is
other
that,
people. So
yeah.
everybody's in this like, I don't know what I want at the moment. And everybody's saying, yeah, what is it that you need?
Well, first you have to address what you need first.
Yes, I think so. I think you're, yes.
That's clear, then you can have the conversation with somebody else.
Mm,
Because if you don't have clear what you need, and this comes from inner baby wounds, so if you weren't fed or taken care of properly before the age of 2, which is normal, this is like nobody's been taken care of properly, then you're going to have lacks, and those lacks, because of the way they were engraved at that age,
yeah.
what happens is those lacks, you're not aware of them, and you will not know how to ask for them, because a 2-year-old baby or less than 2-year-old baby does not know how to ask for what it needs except for crying,
Yes.
demanding, and it's like, mommy has to give me this and I don't have it. No, so we enter into all these behaviors as adults, which stem from babies, basically, because we were not taken care of properly, like in not intentionally. It's nobody's fault. It's just the way we transmit trauma from one generation to another. Because of mom's trauma, she couldn't see you in certain aspects of you, and those aspects of you, she couldn't take care of them.
No.
And it's nobody's fault. It's
No.
just biology.
That's an interesting thing too, because a lot of people there, they're trying to understand, why did they do this to me, and why did they not understand and seeing here, because they couldn't hear. Yes, because they couldn't,
Yeah,
because it was their generation, they couldn't, and what they were going through themselves.
exactly. So first you take care of your own needs from the very, very basic ones. Like, are you properly nurtured? Do you drink properly? Water or teas without caffeine, without taurine. No, I don't know.
I'm just going to top your coffee up, by the way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is that right? Good.
Things that are natural. I don't know. Do you drink enough? Do you eat properly? Like many times, especially in summer, I've seen a lot of people that stop. They forget to drink. They forget to eat,
Oh,
and
it's so many. Yes.
sleeping is worse. So they don't sleep properly at night because it's too hot, especially here in Spain now. Or they sleep less because the days are longer, nights are shorter, and I don't know, you're out partying or with friends or whatever. So there's a whole bunch of factors that make it that in summer we don't sleep properly, we don't eat properly, and many people don't even drink properly. Well, this is a perfect, like, this creates a huge imbalance in your system, and it's a precursor to a psychotic breakdown. So if on top of that you're very stressed, you're it's not a good idea. So you could either get a psychotic breakdown or anything in between. And anything in between is like those moments where you totally lose it. Like maybe you yell at somebody, or you don't know why you reacted that way to people. So that comes from not nurturing yourself and taking care of yourself properly. And as I was saying, in the worst case scenario, it can turn into a psychotic breakdown. And I've seen many.
Yes, I've seen many. I've seen people heading towards them, and they think they just can't understand what's going on or why people are reacting the way they are, and also sometimes people are blind to the way they're acting themselves. That's it. They think it's the world outside that's going wrong, not them. Until we start really talking about it, and so we start really seeing what's going on and reframing it, and changing the present climate, present situation, and seeing where they want to be. Yes. So we've got a new moon coming up on Thursday,
Yes.
which is
Yeah.
tomorrow. Yes,
A
tomorrow.
Virgo
Yes, tomorrow.
tomorrow.
It's this is not a bad one, is it? It's quite a nice new moon, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's interesting because if we don't understand scattering, then it can be unsettling. Because Virgo energy, and when it's like more potent with these, the conjunction because of a new moon, the opposition to Neptune, and so forth, what happens is that Virgo energy is about order, but it's also about new order. So
Yeah.
reality is fractal, but we jump from one fractal to another as we jump timelines, as we lose and let go old patterns. So what happens is that, like, the new reality, imagine our reality is fixed on a mesh, right? So everything we're perceiving, we're seeing, the way we think is on a mesh. So Virgo talks about how we bring in new realities, as in new collective timelines. And the new reality is a different kind of mesh. It's a mesh that has, I don't know, more holes, for example.
Yeah.
So the new reality, the new mesh, is very unsettling and unnerving for the old reality, because the old reality goes, wait a minute, that frequency, that shape, I don't get it. This is weird. It makes me feel anxious. And you get all, and this is when Virgo starts to get all, controlling and want to put everything into space, into its place, because there's a new reality, there's a coming in, and on that new mesh, you're going to create new patterns. And I hope this is not too abstract, but basically, it's, if we try to fix that on the outside because it's unnerving, it's just going to make it worse. So we have to deal with scattering. And the best, as I said before, the best way to deal with scattering is you place yourself in your center, do some maricondo stuff on your house, clear stuff out, and just intend to let the old go and the new come in. And that's going to make the whole process a lot easier. And then movement, because movement helps energy just go through you. If you stay still, then the energy goes in, but it gets stuck. It's going to make a lot of pressure, and it's going to feel very And if you're not feeding and drinking properly, in some cases, in some extreme cases, it can take you to a psychosis.
Yeah, absolutely.
So for these days, with this kind of moon, I would imagine it's very normal to hear people break down or have a psychosis if they're not well grounded in their bodies.
And it's interesting because it's an earth sign, isn't it? It's actually an earth sign itself, which people would normally say, if it's in an earth sign, surely that's to do with grounding, especially when it's making links over to Saturn in Capricorn. People think this there, but Saturn's getting you to learn things, things and understand.
Yes, it is an earth sign, and it does have to do with grounding and centering yourself, which is why the starting point is not grounded and not centered.
That's absolutely fascinating, because I just absolutely love this, because when you really talk about what astrology can offer and how it can offer, and to help people to find their pathway. And I always look at this here. If you want to know what the climate's doing, if you want to know your pathway, just look at the astrology and it'll tell you where you've got to go, or the best way to handle something and not panic about it. Just understand it's just happening, but it's not going to affect you. It's just going on out there. What's in you is the most important part going. I think that's fantastic. So there is a side to it, I feel, though, which has got a little bit of healing to this. If we look about the future, if we look about we're moving forwards, we're changing direction a little bit. Virgo wants us to be very focused. It's Mercury, whatever. Mercury's over there in Libra at the moment. Yes, in Libra. Yeah. But it's starting to slow down a little bit, though, isn't it? It's starting to, but it's not yet. So it gets to October before it really slows down. But yes, but that's interesting, isn't it? This is about looking at this new world, this new dimension, and take very lightly the dimension we're coming into. We start talking, everybody now is talking about the fifth dimension. And what does this all mean? Where are we going? What does, it's great, we're going to fifth dimension. Great, that's nice. What does that mean? It's a new dimension. Fantastic. Great. But what does it mean, the fifth dimension? What are we doing in the fifth dimension that's different from the fourth dimension?
Well, there's different theories, and basically they say 3D is when you think 3D reality is that's it, that's all exists. Yep. Fourth dimension would be when you start juggling with the shadow. Yep. It's like, oh my God, that's a projection of me. I can see myself. And then it's when you're punishing yourself, you're seeing how guilty you are. Well, all this psychological crap. Yes. And fifth dimension is just basically operating from a higher level, a more aware level in which you actually, so the polarities are not that important anymore. It's not so much about experimenting polarities. It's not about good and bad. It's not about projecting on the outside. It's about being more integrated in you and being more in you, which is why we have to ground, which is why grounding and being in your center is so important. Now I'm grounding like this because I just grounded myself I went to the gym. I just came back from the gym, and as always, every Wednesday, I take a quick shower, hence the wet hair.
It looks good.
But I'm not going to, like, for me that's a priority. It's the best day. It's the best day for me to do the gym because of my schedules and everything. So that's a priority, whereas before you would say, oh no, no, I'm in the program, I have to do the program, I have to do this, then I'll leave the gym for another day or I won't do it. No, 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 no. Gym is a priority. Taking care of me is a priority.
Yeah.
My smoothie with a banana and fruits and protein and
Heaven.
it's a
Heaven.
priority.
Yeah.
So
Heaven.
it's taking care of me as a priority. And that's going to allow that fifth dimension, which is that mesh that I was talking before, or it comes down with that mesh. So it's like the fourth dimensional mesh, the matrix.
Yep.
That's dissolved and a new mesh is coming in. So to be able to take that in, our minds have to be very open. And for our mind to be open, we have to be very centered and grounded. And
Yeah.
opening the mind also has to do with dexterity, with making your neural connections more complex. So the more we think about, so scattering has a good side to it, not procrastinating, but yes, scattering in the sense that if we are able to stay centered in spite of a lot of stimuli around us, that's going to, and we can deal with that stimuli, like for example, put it into order, whatever, or just cope with it, then that's going to help our neurons, our neural network actually get more complex and more ramifications. And this is what we want. You can also do that with working with your hands. And that's going to help you receive the new mesh. It's like the more neurons you create, the more little fingers are out there, and you can actually grasp that mesh and bring it down. Whereas before, like the matrix mesh, it's like, okay, two fingers, bring it down. Okay, fits here. This is simple. Just to put a visual to it.
I think it's absolutely fascinating. This absolutely fascinating. And just coming back to Deborah, she says here a lot of people feeling anxious, unsettled at the moment. I would actually say this, that maybe people feel this because we're going from this one era into another, and it's a bit like at that point of change. Like a year ago, everyone would say, "Oh yes, change is coming up. It's not here yet," but now it's coming. Now it's coming. This time period is coming where we're going to go more into this mesh. Those fingertips and more fingers creating neurons, connecting electricity, connecting energy, helping us to think, to be different, to feel different, to sense more, and understand more. And I
Yeah.
think, but people sometimes, do you think people are more anxious and a fear of change than it is actually the dimension?
Yeah, it's normal. I mean, when you change dimension, it's a bit like imagine to have what's we call it, a cauldron of boiling water.
Yep.
So the higher the temperature, the more the atoms and molecules inside the water start jumping around. There's more entropy. There's
Yep.
more movement. Okay. So before the change of state into gas, there's a point where you have bubbles, you have gas, you have water, you have droplets of water committing suicide outside the
Is that what
cauldron.
they're doing? Oh, yeah.
Because some people are like those droplets of water, they just can't adapt. So they want to continue being water while acting like gas, and it just doesn't happen. They're just going to fall back down on top of the thing and evaporate, and they're lost. They're not gone with, they're not flying up with the vapor.
Yes, I can understand. So this is about knowing, and all we've got to do really is just let go.
Let go, because any change of state involves a change in entropy, an increase of entropy.
And
Any
it,
change of state to a new dimension, obviously.
yes, and it's interesting talking to people over the past sort of week or so. People who say here, "I hate change." They can't deal with things that change. They've got to feel secure. They've got to feel that sense.
I mean, I get it, especially for the Pluto Cancer generation.
Yeah, yeah.
Pluto Cancer generation has big issue here. And these are the people that are around their 80s,
Yes.
70, 90, I think.
Oh, yes. You speak to my mother and speak to mother and father about change and things like this is just no. And it's interesting why as well. Interesting why they won't change. And most of it is not what you would call as being functional or realistic. is because of something completely off the wall. But that's the way they think. But then
Mm-hmm.
you've got to get into that way of thinking in order to help those people to change. You can't just say, "But that's stupid."
Yeah, yeah. So basically, Pluto Cancer generation is all about creating a sense of security within.
Yes.
And many people have not achieved it because it's a generation that really didn't dedicate much to self-development.
No, I don't think allowed to really, were they? I don't think. I think everybody still had that old principle of the Victorian era, especially in England, of the stiff upper lip. You don't show emotion. You keep that restriction within you. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. And if they don't accept change and adapt to it because they don't if they don't understand that the security is within them always, then this transit that we're living now is really very hard for them because it's going
And
to take them
that's
to
interesting
they're
as
going to
well.
live it it's going to bring them back memories of war.
Absolutely, absolutely. In probably that's most of the world now, isn't it? Most of the world. Now it's interesting. Susanna says a comfort zone. Some people won't move on. I understand that. I understand that they get comfort zones, and depending on what a comfort zone is, a comfort zone could be an addiction. It could be wine, or it could be drugs. It could be whatever it is. It may even be here, but I don't want to let go of my home. And really, you've got to move for
Yeah,
whatever
but
reason.
you know what happens when you stay in the comfort zone? People think that I'm comfortable. No, you're not. Because so the comfort zone has to do with the energy of Cancer, like I was saying, Pluto Cancer generation.
Yeah.
The energy of Cancer is like imagine an egg.
Yes.
Okay. So what's inside the egg would be Cancer. The yolk or the new chick growing there would be Leo. But anyway, let's just stay with the eggshell and what's inside the egg. So imagine this egg is like a little house, like a hobbit house. Okay,
Yep.
so we have a hobbit house egg, and there you are in your hobbit house egg, and you're growing, but you love your hobbit house egg because it's really comfortable and you have all your ancestors on the wall
Yep.
and you just like it there and you're not going to move because it's your comfort zone.
Yep.
But then what happens is that you're growing more and then suddenly it's becoming too restrictive and it's becoming uncomfortable and you're starting to smell in there because you're cooking yourself in your own heat. I don't know. You know when you do like a day that you wake up and you just can't take your pajamas off and you go from the bed to the sofa or you even stay in the bed and you cover yourself with a blanket and then you start thinking and you start smelling because your energy is stifled and you're just cooking yourself in your own energy and
Yep.
it's like and it creates this type of energy which in the tarot cards is the chariot energy. It's this
Yes.
kind of energy. So you're going to start to cook in that egg more and more and more, and there will be a point where that cooking it's like a pressure cooker. So if the pressure cooker will eventually crack the egg open. Okay? If you crack the egg open, it might not be so nice. So preferably you kind of like make your own little door in your own little egg, and before you start cooking yourself too much, just move out. Get out of your comfort zone. Feel small somewhere. Do something different.
And it's amazing, isn't it? Because I think we're always capable of doing a lot more than what we do, and once we do it, we feel amazing once we've done it. And here's a little picture. I love this one here, and it's strange the things we hold on to.
Is that the one with the frog?
Yes, the frog and the alligator. There he is. There. This is
Talking
amazing.
about the Talking
Amazing
about
things
holding
we.
on to, I was listening to a story the other day. I think it's a Indian story or Hindu or something like that. And it's about this wise man who with his disciple, they go to a village and in the village there's a family and the family, takes them in very lovingly and they feed them in spite of the fact that they're very, very poor and their only possession is a cow. And with that cow, they're able to live because they can milk the cow, they can sell the milk, and they can just get enough to be able to eat, right? So as they leave, as the master and the disciple leave um, that family, the master goes to the disciple, I want you to go back and kill a cow. And it's like, no, but what, why? Just do it. So he had to do it. So he killed the cow, came back. A year later, they go back to the family, and this family has thrived. They now have, instead of a rugged shack, they have a nice brick house. They have more money, they have more things, and it's like, so they again, they are invited in. They invite the master and the disciple in, and they ask, the master asks, well, what happened? He says, well, after you guys left, something tragic happened to us. It's that our cow died. And then we were forced to, each one of us, try to find our talents and give our best. And we actually thrived by doing that. So that's what happens when you leave your comfort zone.
Absolutely. Yes. I always think Martin Luther King said, in the dark, you see the stars. Yes, you see the light. You really see what you can do. I think that's a lovely analogy of his. Okay, right. Let's do a tiny little break. Then I think we're going to do a couple of readings. A few people here who just want to know a few things, and I'm going to, just before we do that, I'm just going to get one of the dates up here. Actually, just looking at them right up the top here, and yes, here we go. Susanna asks, when would be the best time? 28th and 26th will be best to launch my website after January. Would that be a good time to do that? And we've also got Sandra who wants a little reading as well. So 2011, 1960, let's have a little look at this and see what comes up there. Just before we go and do this, let's go and do a couple of things here. Just going to move that. Wait, yes, let's do this. Okay, so you're live on the Astrology show this morning. We're now going to do some little mini readings for you guys out there. One of the Susanna's come through. She wants to know when best time to launch her website. And if it's all up and running, if you've got it all there, then fantastic, Susanna. That's fabulous. It's interesting as well here because I actually would say here that trying to do something or launch something just at this very moment in time probably isn't the most easiest times to go do things. But coming towards moving on toward the end of the year, I think the energy is going to start to change. And then, yes, as people do it. That doesn't mean to say that, oh, great, that doesn't mean that things are going to work. No, what it does mean here is that often with the energies going around us at the moment, it's all about people going in and what's happening in the future. It's about people reconnecting from the past, perhaps. Those people coming forward in our lives. Now, sometimes that's a good thing. And yes, I got your numbers here to. Well, you're a very, very strong soul indeed. Yes. Right. Okay. I like this. Susanna is a life path 10-1 and a personal year 5, a year of change. Wow. And if I was to look here and just tune into you on a spiritual side here, leadership side, I'd take the glasses off and get ready for battle, get ready for getting on with the business here. Let's have a look. And in fact, let's get this going, get the troops going. That's it. Right, so asking the spirit world to come in as well, to come and work with us and see how we're feeling here. I get a feeling here, there, Susanna, is that not to be cluttered up by everything else. Don't clutter things up. This is interesting. Don't put things in the way of what you want. So yes, go towards things coming through next year, but be careful that you put things in the way or get people cluttering. It's interesting we're talking about clutter. I get this super strong feeling, unclutter. Unclutter to make your path as easy as possible so you don't go into something thinking here, this is going to be super hard work. No, it should be a wonderful, enjoyable experience if this is what you would like to do. And that's when the energies are picking up here. But yes, so be careful what other people's intentions are. Keep yours clear. Just be careful you're not involving too much other people in a sense here where they try to sway your decisions. But yes, because otherwise it gets into unnecessary disagreements, things like this. We don't need any of that now. Anyway, so there's Deborah. There's Susanna. What would you like to say there? Popping down the road there. Guiomar.
So the main thing here for Susanna, well, there's a North Node conjunct Pluto in Virgo. So it's important to, like, if with the South Node in Pisces, easy for you to get lost if you just stay like, what's going to happen? I don't know. Let's wait. Let's see what happens. So if you just stay passive, then you're going to get very, very confused. And also, I find interesting that you have Lilith in Cancer with Mars, and then it's also an aspect to Uranus, who is in turn in aspect to Chiron. So this tells me that there's a lot of collective karma. There's a lot of there's the issues dealing with you not owning your own value. That takes us back to that North Node Pluto. You know, the importance to really empower yourself through your own work. So what happens with this Lilith and Chiron is that you're influenced by other people, trying to please them, trying to, for example, give people what you sense they might need, but by doing so, you're not being true to yourself and you're forgetting about yourself. So again, like you said, interesting, because we were talking about Venus and Leo, and it's a bit this theme, no, that you have to really, what we were talking about before, center yourself, and whatever you do from yourself, because Lilith Uranus is about the fact that, like, for example, you were born into a family who was not very united, who has a different core value than yours. And to be able to fit in that family, and via guilt, you try to serve others, forgetting what your core values are, right? And you're a Sag, so Sagittarius this year really has to align with their own values and realize what your gifts are, those gifts are different than what was appreciated in your family, and hence appreciated in the people that surrounded you afterwards. So that's where the collective karma comes in. So with this Lilith and Chiron, you tend to create, like, not enemies necessarily, even though there's Neptune, Mercury, and Scorpio. So there could be a little bit of that. But it's this mindset of, oh, they won't understand me. Oh, these people will. So you're excluding people because you think they won't understand you, and it's important that you don't do that, because then you're excluding yourself. You're rejecting aspects of yourself. So I imagine by the year you're born, that by this time you've already gone over all this collective karma, or a great part of it. So it's more important for you to just deliver the message, really connect to your true self, like the image I was saying before, you know, who are you, what's important for you, and from there include others in concentric circles around you. So align with your truth and give from there, and don't worry about what anybody else thinks or says or even needs, because whatever you have to give, somebody needs it. And that's the only thing that really matters. Don't first think of what will be received and then give. I know there's a lot of marketing that says you have to do that. I totally disagree. You cannot betray yourself just for giving something to somebody in any aspect of life.
I tell you what I take out of that, and it's something you just said there, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. And maybe, Susanna, this really resonates with you. There is something there that people need just from you. Something that people need, something that you're going to offer. People will need it, and believe in that. You don't need to feel of value, of worth. You already are. You already are of worth. I think that's a beautiful thing there to go and say. I think, Susanna, that would probably resonate with you, because you're a lovely, lovely energy. And I think to people to know, and that should be love in itself, is that people need you. Oh, that's beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes, so hopefully, yes. Although it's a personal year 5, it's a year of change. It is. I think it's preparation for change, and getting ready for something enormous that comes up later on in your life there. So magic, and it's power yourself, believing in you. I think it's lovely. Yeah, good. Okay, right. Let's have a little pop down the road. Actually, I think you're in another country actually. And let's go and have a look. I'm just looking for, just lost, there he is. There she is, Sandra. Sandra is a life path 33-6 in a personal year 1. Now I go and get her details. They are straight up the top here. And in fact, I'm just finding her now. There she is, yes. 17th of 3rd, 1948. Is this the right time to move house? And colour pink. I'm going to come back to that in just a second, and there's a 33.6 on your energies there. So first of all, what I'd like to say to you, Sandra, here, and just picking up your energy around you and just feeling what the energy of the universe wants to say. Actually, I've got a gentleman here who, oh, this is interesting. There's a gentleman here who either used to work in a small shop or used to work in a small space, because that's what he's showing me. And as he's coming through to me, he says here that I get a feeling like D to do his name. Now, there's possibly Dad, but I actually think D is his name somewhere. D is his name. And as he's talking to me here, it was quite a interesting man, because I really don't think here that this is a chap who'd have been majorly vocal. He doesn't come over like that. What he's come over, he's been quite a quiet man, but he was very sensible here. And he's just shown me this energy here, Sandra. Now, one of the things it says to me here about moving house, this is interesting, because the first thing it points to me here is his watch. This is time. This is time. Would you understand if I said to you here? Yes, it's, if you want to go and move house, go and do it, but just be aware of time. He says to me here, it's all going to happen for you, which is nice, the fact of moving home. Would you understand that it may not be moving at the time you think it's going to go at, but more moving at the time of what the universe wants you to move at? In which case here, maybe a little bit later on in the year, the way things move out. The pink, I love the colour pink around you. This gives me a feeling of protection around you. Protection, and don't worry about things. It's I know we worry about things, and that lovely energy where you are at the moment, the energy in itself is beautiful, but I'll just say, just don't worry. Don't worry. It's easy to say. In fact, the worst thing you could say to someone who worries is don't worry, because they'll worry even more. So my focus here is to say to you, this lovely man who's with you says you're going to move, you'll be absolutely fine, and there'll be there's a money matter situation which he's telling me about in a bit a minute, but that's going to clear. That's going to clear to give you a little bit more freedom here. Okay, let's pop down the road to Javier and speak to the Lady of the Stars.
So, Sandra.
Godfather Douglas, she says. Oh, good. We got the name right. Good.
Douglas.
Douglas. That's a nice name. Yes, it's my godfather. Good.
Yeah. So, Sandra, she's a Pisces, and Moon in Gemini conjunct. No, not conjunct, but Moon in Gemini, Uranus over there. There's a North Node in Taurus with Venus. There's a lot of you, Sandra, that is not very grounded in you. Like there's a big issue with your own self-value, and in that case, with what is it that you really want from life. So, okay, you're a Pisces. So a Pisces normally is a person who is always like thinking of others and taking care of others and not prioritizing themselves. It's more I are instead of an I am, because it's a collective, it's a more collective consciousness. But the word that comes into my mind to be able to bridge that is cohesion. So what's your motivation to move? I would ask. Is it something that you really want? And if it goes towards cohesion, towards uniting, I think that would be a good move. Because since you can't really ground and value yourself, it has to be a move that goes towards cohesion and union.
That's very interesting, this here. This man who's talking to me here, he just loves you loads. He just wants, and I totally agree with what you're saying. What you're saying here is time to think about it. What is the value of moving? I agree with you, totally agree with you. And your numerology is a 336. Sometimes the value of yourself here, you're really what you're capable of doing is huge amounts. But the 336 is like, it's way up there and you're not connecting with it. You're not connected with it. Once you connect with this here, I think you'll see just what amazing gifts you've got there. Normally 11s, 22s, 33s, they've always got something to do with healing. And it's interesting, yeah, you got a NHS badge going across your thumbnail there, so that's interesting. But there's very much about the healing aspect with the 33 and the 6 with partners as well here. So it's interesting about, and as Deborah says here, new beginnings and new challenges. New beginnings, and is the challenge right? Is the challenge right for you? So let's see what happens. Yes, yeah. Fleurs is so interesting, and she also says,
I know.
She also says, "Lovely Susanna." So, Fleur, lovely to see you there. Lovely to see you too. Welcome onto the show. And okay, so this is Cafe Clairvoyance. I'm joined by the wonderful, wonderful Guiomar down there in Javier. And in Cafe Clairvoyance, we do astrology on Wednesday mornings. We do this, it's a spiritual astrology. So we combine numerology, we combine mediumship, and we combine astrology. We have a good old chat about the ethos, what's going out there. And it's always an absolutely fascinating morning. And it's, are you wanting to move nearer your daughter?
Okay,
Okay.
that's good.
See, there's a value, isn't there? There's a value. So you want to move.
Cohesion.
Yes, cozy. That's lovely, isn't it? Yes, lovely. And I think it's going to go that way. And Fleur is saying hi Gio, and yes, we all say hi to you too. To you too. And this is you guys here just to wish you an absolutely fabulous morning. Just to say thank you very much for joining us on the show. We need to come to the end of the show here, but not quite yet. Not quite yet. But what we want to say to you guys is that whatever you're doing at the moment, wherever your life is taking you at the moment here, if you're stuck, if you're really stuck thinking, where am I going? Just get into yourself and just chill. Just chill.
Now get centered, and
Centered.
yeah, and remember the picture I did at the beginning, put yourself in the center, make a circle, put yourself in the center and say what's important for me
Yes.
and what's more valuable, and then everything, another circle, what's a little bit on the periphery, like family, like children, whatever, and so forth, So whatever decision you make, you incorporate it into that circle. You don't leave your circle to see to consider options.
Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah, I agree. Fleur, she just asked here, how does one go about a reading? Well, on this show, we're coming to the end of this hour, but if for the next Wednesday show, if you'd like a reading then all we require is you send in by messenger on the Cafe Clairvoyance page here, and your date of birth, a question, and your favourite colour. And then we can work with that to give you a reading. How's that? But that'll be on next Wednesday show. However, I'm on I'm on Sunday evening at 7 o'clock Spain time, 6 o'clock UK, and that's good. Ellie says I like the circle. Fantastic. Yes, and she says that's what I'm doing. Well done, fabulous. Good for you. Good for you. And Fleur says lots of grounding. Fantastic. Good. Doing all that stuff is great. So Sandra, hopefully that helped you out there. She says thank you very much. And Guiomar, thank you very much to you too. So anything you'd like to add? Anything you'd like to add in this last minute of the show here that we can add out to people just to throw out there?
Well, just to remember that if you find yourself scattering and like not sure, considering many options, and like, oh, can't take the decision, I don't know why, it's normal. Just relax, stay centered, take care of yourself, and just intend to open yourself up to more options, because they are there, they're coming in, but we're still like not quite able to receive it fully. So don't resist with your conscious mind. Let your unconscious mind take in whatever it has to take in.
Absolutely. That's lovely. Great. Guys, is what I'd like you to do. Guys, spread the love out there. And the love is of this show, because this show is all about love. It's all about love and spreading love out there. So tell people about it. Get people to join. Get people to share the page. Send it out there. Tell people about it so they can like it. And then more people to join in. It's very entertaining. We try to make it as entertaining as possible anyway. And but it always is on a Wednesday morning, because Guiomar, I just love your astrology. I love your psychology. And we have such a good chat. It's embracingly warm and fun. And right, okay. Thanks so much, guys. Also, praise this 33-6 person. Petra, I love you. this 33-6 person. We don't normally go around saying that, do we? Oh, that 21 person. Oh, I never got a 33-6 person.
7. Yeah, I'm 7.
11. 11. Okay, guys. So we're going to see you next Wednesday on this show. Guiomar, thank you very, very much for joining us again, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. And look forward to seeing you guys very, very soon. And back on Sunday evening, as I say, 7 o'clock. In the meantime, have a wonderful week, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the show.
And thank you, everybody.
Yes. Okay. And yes, see you all very, very soon. And loads of love to you all. So, okay, guys, take care. Have a lovely, lovely day.
Bye.
Okay, bye bye. I'm just looking for my. That's covering it. There it is. Goodbye. Going now. That's it. Love and a veggie burger. I've got a Deborah keeps telling me. She says you don't say veggie burger. Okay, so love and a veggie burger. This is symbology. Symbology of love is changing. It's going from that to that. Love thy burger, especially a vegan or a veggie one. Anyway, there you go. Okay, have a great day. Mad, absolutely mad.